All right, let's call the meeting to order at, looks like 6 on the dot. Could everyone please rise and we'll do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And this meeting is governed by the Opens Meeting Act, which is in the back of the room by the door on the wall. And our first act in new business is to discuss, consider, and take all necessary action to adopt the 2023 and 2024 school budget.
Okay, the budget request coming to you is the same as you saw at the previous board meeting. And we heard on the budget hearing as well. I went to the joint public hearing about our property tax asking as well down at Douglas County last week and heard from our patrons there. There wasn't a ton of Bennington patrons that were in attendance, but I was able to hear from some folks from Douglas County, so that was good. This budget reflects an increase of 3.39% in our general fund on the NDE budget, a 1.5% decrease in our bond fund, a $10,750,000 decrease, or 43.61% in the special building fund. That's because we had so many expenses from the 2020 bond and last year compared to this year, and so that's why that number gets a little funny. And then an increase in our QC PUF fund. The reason for the increase in QC PUF is if we're able to come back and maybe pay off some of our QC PUF bonds during this school year, we need to have the budget authority to do so. And so that increase is like 1,600% because again, we were making the payments in the previous years, might be able to pay off a chunk of those bonds hopefully in the coming months. And so that's what that's reflected there. Overall, our budget request is $94,503,027. Our tax asking is $34,964,374 with a proposed levy of $1.35.8. I know we've talked about this about 3 meetings in a row, so if you have any specific questions, I'll let me answer them. And this, again, will be approval of the NDE budget, and so that's what we're submitting to the state of Nebraska. Our actual expenditures that we were planning out of the general fund are $51,664,222. That'll be our actual.
All right, thank you, Dr. Foss. Any questions? Okay. And then do we have a motion?
I move to approve the 23-24 NDE budget as presented or as modified.
Second.
Jody, could you take call, please?
Christie?
Yes.
Kara?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
All right, the next item is to discuss, consider, and take all necessary action to approve the property tax request resolution and set the school system's final property tax request for the 2023 and 2024 school year.
Yeah, so per state statute, we need to have approval of a resolution to set a property tax request. It's just an additional level of transparency for our patrons to ensure that we know exactly what we're requesting. It's got several bullets to it, but I'm just going to kind of read our way through those. Our total property tax request we set at $34,964,374. The tax request for general fund is set at the $24,511,108. That is the general fund. $8,753,967 for the bond fund. $1,235,854 for the special building fund, $463,445 for the QC PUF fund. This year's property valuation differs from last year's by 20.98%. If we were able to keep the exact same asking, that would end up being $1.17.8362 per $100 of valuation. We are asking for $1.35.8 per $100 of valuation. And then on the total operating budget that we just approved, it will decrease by 5.97%. They would decrease those funding because of the special building fund, again, where that went down so much. That's why it was that way. This is the lowest levy that we will have been able to have in Bennington. 12 years will be the lowest general fund levy in 17 years. That's with the 5-cent decrease in the general fund, and then the 1.76% decrease in the QC puff. So all in a 6.79 cent, or excuse me, 6.76 cent levy decrease on our tax asking. So yeah, we're doing the best we can. I think we've talked about that, so we're blue in the face. Be excited to answer any questions though.
Thank you, Dr. Claus. Any questions?
I'm blaming you, I don't know.
No questions? All right, do we have a motion?
I move to adopt the property tax request resolution for Bennington Public Schools for the 2023-24 year and set the 2023-2024 property tax request as follows: $24,511,108 for the general fund, $1,235,854 for the special building fund, $8,753,967 for the bond fund, and $463,445 for the qualified capital purpose undertaking fund.
All right, do we have a second?
I second.
And Jody, would you please take roll?
Steve,
Yes?
Jeremy,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
Kara,
Yes.
Our next regular meeting is scheduled for October 9th at 6 p.m. here back in this room at the district office. Our committee meetings, we have a building finance committee is to be determined. Our next curriculum committee will follow this meeting this evening. And the next policy meeting, our policy meeting was scheduled right before this meeting at 5 o'clock. So. And then we have a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Jody?
Christie,
Yes.
Kara,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
6:07.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.